So, this is it, Phaedra. This poison Medea brought to Athens is now slowly spreading through your burning veins. So, is this what I look like before my death? What officious hand has tied my hair into knots? Who was expecting me to see another night?
Okay, I was not expecting this game to already have voice acting, but that's actually very surprising. Anyways, hello all my fellow nerds out there. This is Oracle Nerichi and welcome to a game called Daughter of the Sun. The Daughters of the Sun, I should say, because that's the title of the window I'm in. I've been meaning to play The Thread and the Sword, but I actually found out that it's actually the conclusion of a trilogy, and this is the first game of that trilogy. So, I wanted to at least take a chance on this series and see what I can find, see if I like it or not. And well, I'm probably already gonna like it. It's a visual novel for Pete's sake. Anyways,
It was never meant to happen. Not when my heart burns from a black flame, maybe even darker than the one which drove my mother to her bewilderment. Pasiphae, the mother I share with the Minotaur.
Minotaur?
And somehow, for the first time in my life, I can hear what she must have felt in her heart.
Okay, guys, I can barely hear the voice, so I'm gonna turn up the volume on my computer a little bit.
Men, you would be free to blame me if I gave my body to another man than my husband in secret. Had I sold Aphrodite's gifts, would I have deserved her wrath? Yet, none of this happened, and my heart set on a bull. This cruel goddess assaulted my heart by filling it with passion for the white robe of this animal, for the red tint in its hair, for its black beard. This has to be the kind of madness only Aphrodite can create, as no reasonable person would experience such shameful passion as an act of will. Well, there is at least a difference between her bull and my Hippolytus. At least it was not a declared enemy of love, and was able to show her affection. But what are these impious final thoughts of mine? As the cloud of death covers my gaze, do I forget he is my stepson, and the son of my husband, Theseus?
Okay, already I'm liking the whole the Greek gods theme with this visual novel. It's very good so far.
Theseus, he who stole me from my sweet Crete, after he had let my sister die of the love she felt for him on the very shore he had abandoned her. I remember the way Ariadne talked about Theseus as she was guiding him through our labyrinth. Oh, Phaedra, how could I love him too much when I keep in my memory the glory his thousands of exploits covered him with? Procrustes, Cercyon, the giant of Epidaurus, Cenes, so many monsters he punished with his hand. And soon, thanks to his wonders, our Crete will be smoking with the blood of this abomination our mother gave birth to.
Not sure how to feel about that.
It must be Aphrodite, right? It is always her who fills my heart with passion. Nobody has ever loved as much as I do. Glory to Aphrodite! Glory to all she inspires in our mortal hearts. To this sweet weakness which rejoices all those enamored. Although she praised Aphrodite and was devoted to her, the goddess still ended up betraying her. Ariadne was the one who helped Theseus not to get lost in the labyrinth, which was the shelter of the Minotaur. And yet, he abandoned her when he was bored with her, marrying her sister instead.
Jeez.
Marrying me, only for me to fall in love with his son.
Oh.
The proud Hippolytus, the one who looks at love with disgust and horror. The one I confessed my love to. The expression of terror on his face, frozen into place, unable to drag his sword and to pierce my breast. Aphrodite, you made me confess such shameful feelings, and yet you would not let me immolate my heart. You would not let it expiate its offense.
Okay, so I'm kind of understanding the plot so far, but if you guys read the warning in the beginning, you probably know what's happening right now. But I'm going into this blind. I actually have no clue what's going on.
I yelled at Hippolytus. I begged him to strike. Maybe this torment would have been too sweet. Maybe he did not want to have my vile blood staining his hand. But when I asked for his blade instead of his arm, when I was ready to punish myself, my wet nurse stopped me. But this time, nobody is stopping me. This time, the venom I took is spreading its newfound chill in my dying heart. Aphrodite, now that I am dying, and that I have never felt so close to you, I have a question. Why? My ancestor, the sun, cast its light on you and revealed your affair. Your husband, Hephaestus, was the one who forged the net that trapped you with your lover. Then why did you direct your ire at the daughters of the sun? Why did you choose to attack women by granting them the same pain your divine heart suffers from? And this Hippolytus, proud enemy of love, who never bothered even looking at your altars while I was sacrificing heifers for you, letting my hand plunge in their innocent blood. Can you not see it? Our causes are the same. Why do you not try to destroy him? I know it all too well. It has never been for you. The incense I lit has always been for this god I never dared to name. I will soon be dead, Aphrodite, burying with me the last woman of my kind. I do not have any daughters you could curse and torment. And you, dear ancestor, father and master of all gods, why did you not save me? Save the three of us. You, noble and glittering author of a sad family, who perhaps blush on my turmoil. I came to see you one last time, as you are setting down. In a matter of minutes now, the world will plunge into the night. A night which will be eternal to me. The night which covers my mother. The night which covers my sister. The night the daughters of the sun are abandoned too, although the sky and the universe is full of our forebears. There is no star or celestial body to shine for us. There is just one remnant of life in me, and I'm ready to breathe it away. To breathe it out. And death, finally stealing clarity from my eyes, gives back to the day they soiled all its purity.
Pasiphae, Ariadne,
Phaedra,
we are the daughters of the sun who have been sacrificed.
Wait, that's it? Wait, that's it? You can't tell me that's it. Wait, start over or quit? Wait, what? Wait, that's it? That was short as heck. That was the shortest thing I've ever seen. I don't think I've read a visual novel that short before. I mean, well, except maybe like a Liar, Liar, and Liar, Liar 2, but I've never read a visual novel that short before. Was I supposed to do something? Was there supposed to be was there supposed to be something I was supposed to do? Was I supposed to click on something or interact with another thing? Okay, looking at the itch.io page, and yeah, there's literally nothing to do here. It's literally just a linear story with no choices. That's probably the first time I have ever read a visual novel where I couldn't make any single choices. Where like I couldn't make a single choice or decide the outcome. I mean the itch.io page itself says, "What else do you do when Aphrodite curses you?" Wow. Okay, that was awfully short. Okay. Let's see if the sequel has anything else to offer. And by that I actually downloaded all three parts of the trilogy, so I don't know, maybe if the first game is this short, then maybe the second game is also that short? Okay, I'm gonna see you guys after the transition. Okay, there's running. Oh!
I cannot look at myself without
Oh.
horror.
Oh, I can move my mouse. Oh, moving my mouse actually moves him, that's kind of weird. Alright. Oh, that's Hippolytus. Wait, isn't that what Phaedra was? Isn't that the person that Phaedra was mentioning earlier? It's weird.
Such an excess of horror renders my spirits numb.
And this one has voice acting too. Interesting.
Phaedra, this dreadful secret must fall into oblivion. Me, Hippolytus, the virtuous Hippolytus, the one Pythias, counted wise amongst all men, deigned to instruct, the son of a chaste heroine Antiope, queen of the proud Amazons, the one whose heart is purer than daylight. I, Hippolytus, son of Theseus, slayer of the Minotaur and dozens of monsters before and after him. I channeled such horrible feelings in my stepmother's heart. I lit up, despite myself, the darkest of flames in her chest. Did I say anything wrong to her? Was it the way I acted towards her? Is it because of me? The depths of my heart would hide something this twisted? I have always been a declared enemy of love. An untamable tiger. I always looked at Aphrodite with disdain. I never bowed a single knee before her altars. I never loved anyone. I never wanted to love. I hate love at the core. I even hate the concept of loving. I was one to always proudly revolt against passion. scorned, hated the chains lovers trapped themselves within, and arrogantly looking from the shore at the shipwrecks of weak men. This is how you choose to take revenge, Aphrodite! You knew my heart was inflexible, and you would never submit it to your wicked will! You knew that I was under Artemis's protection, and that I only found pleasure in hunting in the darkest forest, rather than in the darkness of your own twist! Subsequently, you made me the object of such horrific desire. My stainless honor, forever stained by the fact I let this happen. And Phaedra, the daughter of Minos and Pasiphae, what did she think? Prey to her deep emotion? What deadly poison has she spread through our veins with her passion? I remember Theramenes telling me the glorious tales I felt warmed by his thousands of exploits. I was aspiring to become like him. The intrepid hero, consoling mortals from Hercules' absence. The bones of the giant of Epidaurus flung abroad. But his less glorious deeds, his unfaithfulness, Helena, taken from Sparta and her parents, Peripea's tears, witnessed by all Salamis, Ariadne telling the rocks about her sad fate. Phaedra, finally. Phaedra! Phaedra! I am a poetess of treason! My heart is proud! My heart is disdainful! My Amazon mother fed me on this pride, making my heart beat. And then, when I reached a riper age, I approved of myself the moment I knew what I became. And yet, all these things I approved about myself led Phaedra to develop her horrible feelings. What am I? A ghost of virtue? An illusion of honor? Am I Hippolytus? The one who corrupted his stepmother? After she told me about her appalling passion, after she explained that had I been the one who came to fight the Minotaur, she would have lost herself in the labyrinth with me. She begged me to kill her, to strike. I didn't strike. I couldn't move, completely paralyzed by fear. By fear? Or by pity? Did I pity her? What was there to pity? She is in love with me. Me, her stepson. Me, the son of her husband, Theseus. Father. At least you are not alive anymore. At least you didn't see the despicable, miserable expression of your wife, grabbing your son's calves, begging him to murder her. At least you didn't see my expression of horror. You didn't see me tremble in front of the first monster I had to fight. Would I have been able to slay the Minotaur when I cannot even fight against Phaedra? What did she see in me? What did she see in me? What did she think she was allowed to see in me? I just wanted to comfort her after the death of her husband. And her answer was to tell me I remind her of him. She touched my hair, my cheeks, my face, looked into my eyes, told me she loved him when he was young, charming, loyal, proud, wild even. That he had my bearing, my eyes, my speech, the flame in her eyes when she told me about her passion. Father, I know you cannot hear me, so please, let me say this. I'm frightened. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. My innocence doesn't know how to react to this. When she threw herself on my sword and took it to pierce her breast, I was frozen onto place, unable to react, unable to kill her myself, unable to stop her, unable to kill the one carried in the same womb as the Minotaur. I'm going to leave treason, to go beyond the sea. I need to find other, new monsters. Monsters I can actually fight. I haven't done half of what you did. I've grown ashamed of my idleness. Maybe I'll go back to treason someday, when Phaedra is dead. Or when I'm finally ready to clear my virtue and kill her.
Okay, I just realized that my mic was muted the entire time, but I was trying to say before that I don't know, Greek history is kind of messed up. But yeah, that was the second one was just equally as short. I'm not gonna lie. Both of them seem to be like 10 minutes long at the very least. And if I'm right, the third game should continue that pattern. So who knows? 3 games in one video and all for the same series. That's a new record. Anyways, let's just cut to the next one. All right, guys. Third game. This is the third game, the thread and the sword. And right here, your only warning. This is the only time a warning's gonna appear. I'll be sure to put warnings in the description if need be.
Why does she want to talk to me?
Oh, we have full body art this time. Interesting.
I don't know. Inoni just told me the queen was asking for you. I suppose she wants to talk about the death of your father.
Right. She is now a widow after all. She must be suffering.
The young prince of Athens admitted, looking at the golden door in front of him, separating him from the queen's quarters. He sighed.
I will find you when the discussion is over, so that we can prepare our departure to find my father, alive or dead. Thanks, Theramenes.
Of course.
The prince's confidant answers, an encouraged smile on his face as he watched Hippolytus? It's so weird to pronounce Greek names, honestly. My Greek knowledge is not that great. Hippolytus opens the door. Ooh, that's actually a lot louder than I thought it'd be. This chair is very squeaky. Red and the sword. This is gonna be very interesting. I can already see it. Oh, when he entered the room, he saw the alarmed face of Phaedra, his stepmother, Queen of Athens. That's interesting. Hippolytus stayed silent, looking at this woman who had bullied him for years, being the reason he had to leave Athens and stay in treason. Is that actually pronounced? Because I think it would have been pronounced Trozen? I don't know. In the end, Hippolytus grew accustomed to the tranquility of the woods, and would rather spend time there than in a court. He knew, however, that Phaedra did not send him out there out of kindness. And yet for the first time, she appeared vulnerable to him. He felt pity, gaining his heart, imagining the pain she must have been suffering from. She was a widow, and her son had no father to protect them. The queen could not look away either. Her stepson's youthful traits captured her eyes, and she saw in his eyes the crackling of flames burning inside her. So this is basically what both stories were coming to. So I'm assuming. Wait, is this series going backwards, kind of like Star Wars, or I don't know. I could be wrong about that. When she felt her wet nurse's hand on her shoulder, she managed to whisper almost inaudibly,
Here he is. All my blood retreats into my heart. What was I supposed to tell him?
Remember your sons,
oh.
whose only hope you are.
I thought that was just a shadow in the background. I'm assuming what she means is assistant. I'm pretty sure that's what that word means, right? Oh, never mind then. Never mind. I don't even want to know. Oh, and there she goes. Bye. Phaedra gulped, clenching her fists. Her sons. She had to make sure Hippolytus would not punish them for all the harm she had caused in the past. She lowered her head as to empty it, or holding it high as she was used to doing as the Queen of Athens.
I heard that a prompt departure will take you away from us. Let me join my tears to your pain, and let me explain my fears about my sons. Their father is now gone, and they will be witnesses of my own death only in a few days. Their childhood is already attacked by thousands of enemies, and you are the only one who can protect them. But I fear that I closed your ears to their screams, and that your just anger pursues in them all the hatred you have for me.
Hippolytus looked on the side, confused. Did he hate Phaedra? He knew for a fact that he did not appreciate her, and that she had wronged him. However, perhaps his feelings were closer to indifference than they were to hatred. Choosing to keep the details, he simply answered,
I haven't got feelings this low, Phaedra.
Oh, if you hated me, I would not complain. I was a declared enemy of yours, claimed it privately and publicly, refused to endure hearing the sound of your name, wanted to be separated from this name by seas. Yet, if you can read the depths of my heart, and if only hatred can attract further hate, no woman was ever worthier of pity, and less deserving of your enmity.
The blonde prince blinked, barely understanding the words coming from Phaedra's mouth. She did not hate him? What were then all these years of persecution for? Were they just for her son's interests? Hippolytus thought it might have been the reason, and an understandable one. He did not want to shove her away, not when she was making the first step to admitting her attitude, and was already dying. Without directly looking at Phaedra, he nodded, crossing his arms.
I understand. A mother, jealous of the rights of her children, rarely tolerates the son of another wife. Inopportune suspicions are the most common fruits of a second union. In your place, anyone would have taken umbrage, and perhaps I would have suffered from even more offense.
Ah, Hippolytus, all the gods whom I take as witnesses made me an exception to this common rule. A different matter troubles and consumes me.
Don't feel troubled yet. Perhaps...
Hippolytus looked at her expression with a twist of pain and of something sweeter, or more passionate, that she felt inside. Certainly her love for Theseus is, he naively thought. wanted to comfort her. She was pitiful, and he could not help but think it was his duty as Theseus' oldest son.
Perhaps your husband still sees the light of day. Poseidon protects him, and this tutelary god won't be invoked in vain by my father.
Nobody has ever seen the shores of death twice, Hippolytus.
Phaedra's voice was dark, deep, and instead of her vulnerability and struggles, it was her royalty which spoke.
Since Theseus has reached this somber coastline, you hope in vain that he will come back to you. The greedy Acheron never lets go of its prey.
The queen, refusing to vainly believe in her husband's survival and wanting to state it firmly, looked at Hippolytus' confused expression. She loved his traits. He looked like Theseus when he was younger, but had something wilder, more impetuous that she enjoyed.
No, he is not dead. Since he breathes in you, it is as if my husband were here. Before my eyes, I see him. I speak to him. And my heart.
Phaedra took a step back, her hand holding the fabric of her clitoris. Realizing she was about to reveal her forbidden feelings for the stepson she was in love with, she shook her head under Hippolytus' raised eyebrow.
I digress. My crazed ardor speaks in spite of me.
Hippolytus cannot hide his skepticism, as the thoughts started emerging in his mind. Comparing him to her husband, his father, the step she took towards him before stepping back. She? He shook his head, as Phaedra did a few seconds ago. No, it was an impure thought, and he felt ashamed for letting it form in his mind. Kind of like a thought form experiment. And yet, this nagging doubt, he just needed confirmation.
I see the prodigious effect of your love. Even though he is dead, you still see Theseus.
I mean, I get the phrase like father, like son, but it's kind of ridiculous.
Your soul is still inflamed with love.
Yes, Prince. I languish. I burn for...
The queen almost screamed, taking a step towards Hippolytus before interrupting herself. She gulped, trying to collect her thoughts.
Theseus. I love him, but not as hell has seen him. A fickle worshipper of thousands of objects, coming to dishonor the bed of the god of the dead. No, I love him faithful, proud, and even wild. Charming, young, drawing all the hearts behind him.
Well, the music's starting to pick up.
Such as one depicts the gods. Or, as I see you.
Hippolytus' eyes slowly widened, with horror as he took a step back. Phaedra approached him, closer than she had ever been to inspect the traits of him closer.
He had your bearing, your eyes, your language. That noble modesty colored his face when he sailed across our Cretan waters. Worthy object of Minos' daughter's desire.
Oh, she's starting to get crazy. She's starting to look a little like a yandere. The young prince wanted to run away, to find an escape from this woman, who was progressively pinning him to the wall. He never saw such an expression on her face. She looked entranced, as if a force stronger than her was speaking instead.
What were you doing then? Why, without Hippolytus, did he gather the flower of Greek heroes? Why, too young then, could you not embark upon the ship that set him upon our shores?
Dude, my boy is quivering.
The monster of Crete would have died by your hand, despite the numerous windings of his vast retreat.
I'm not sure how to feel about this.
To make sure you achieved that goal, my sister would have put the fatal thread in your hand.
Thread. There's one half of the title. The thread. And he has a sword, which makes sense. And then an instant of silence. Hippolytus thought he could breathe. He thought Phaedra realized she was going too far. Perhaps Theseus' death made her lose all reason, but he hoped she would still manage to realize, even for an instant, that she was soiling him, not him and her. But instead, she screamed, grabbing Hippolytus' face with her hands.
No, I
Oh.
would have outstripped her. Love would have inspired the thought to me.
Wait, I'm confused. Because that color was one of her sisters, wasn't it?
It is I, Prince. It is I whose useful help would have taught you the way through the labyrinth. With what care would I have cherished your dear head? A thread would not have reassured your lover enough.
Phaedra then took Hippolytus' hand, walking around the room, her gaze lost in the horizon, as if she had found herself in a labyrinth. With Hippolytus at his side, looking for the Minotaur.
Bride to the peril you had to go through, I would myself have asked to walk in front of you. And Phaedra, coming down to the labyrinth with you, would have returned or perished by your side.
That was the straw breaking the camel's back for the young prince. He pushed Phaedra away from him, his cheeks reddened with anger, his hand burning with the impurity she left on it.
Gods! What am I hearing? Phaedra, do you forget that Theseus is my father and your husband?
Phaedra looked at the cold floor Hippolytus threw her onto, clumsily standing up, trying to hide her shame. She just answered, using her regal voice again.
And what makes you think I forgot about it, Prince? Would I have lost all care for my glory?
If Hippolytus' cheeks were still red, it was not because of anger, but of shame and remorse. Phaedra was just reliving moments with her husband, projecting herself in her own sister's shoes. There was nothing more to it. When she complimented his face, she was seeing Theseus, and Hippolytus dared to think she was talking about him. He dared to believe his stepmother would develop a shameful love for him. He felt dishonored, disgusting for having such a thought. He, who took pride in his purity and virtue, was able to create horrendous and vile scenarios?
Phaedra, please forgive me. I confess, blushing, that I falsely accused innocent words.
His vision started getting blurry. At the thought of he was certainly as vile as others, as distorted, as perverted. He brought his hand to his mouth, which still felt acid after his false accusations.
My shame can no longer endure your vision, and I go.
Before he could even move, Phaedra jumped onto him, grabbing his arms as she fell to her knees.
Oh, you cruel! You've listened for too long.
Let go of me!
I've told you enough to undeceive you. Then know, Phaedra and all her fury. I love you.
She screamed, she shouted words which froze Hippolytus. He did not misunderstand. His virtues were still intact, but at what cost? Literally the Wario I won but at what cost meme. He was unable to speak, unable to run away.
Do not think that, while I love, innocent in my eyes, I approve of myself.
Hippolytus tried to step back, but as an answer, Phaedra's grip in his arm got firmer.
Do not think that my feeble complacency has fed the poison of my wild love. Unfortunate object of celestial vengeance, I abhor myself more than you detest me.
Ooh. The young prince, whose eyes were wide open with horror, managed to shove her away, making Phaedra fall to the marble floor again. He was boiling with horror and frozen with fear.
I said, let go of me!
May the gods be my witnesses. Those gods who lit up in my side this fire, fatal to all my race. Those gods who find cruel glory in enchanting the heart of a weak mortal.
On her knees, still on the floor, Phaedra looked at Hippolytus with anger. Missy's hair strands were hiding a part of her face. The prince was frightened by her furious eyes.
Recall all the past years in your mind. I didn't just avoid you. I exiled you. I wanted you to find me odious, inhuman, to resist your charms. I have sought your hate. Ah, what have these useless efforts brought me? You hated me more, but I loved no less. Your misfortune even made you more charming.
His realization made the queen lie down on the floor, her eyes looking at the ceiling as if it were the entirety of the stars above her, mocking her. She bit her lower lip in frustration, frustrated not to be able to fight against this love, frustrated not to be able to hide it, frustrated at the gods who punished her for the son's crime.
I languished. I withered. In fires. In tears.
She turned her head towards Hippolytus. A weak smile appeared on her face.
Your eyes would be enough to persuade you of it.
Hippolytus did not look at her. He looked the other way, trying to find an escape. Phaedra sighed in sadness.
If those eyes could look at me for an instant.
This last sentence made Phaedra jolt, and she quickly got back to her feet. What? She shamelessly begging Hippolytus to look at her when she was revealing the unutterable, when she should instead find a place to hide and die. She shook her head, walking towards Hippolytus.
What am I saying? This shameful confession I just made. Do you think it is voluntary? I just came trembling for sons I did not dare to betray, to beg you not to hate them because of me. Weak projects of a heart full with what it loves, alas. I could only tell you about yourself.
Phaedra, on these words, turned her back to Hippolytus, and sighed in relief. It was all going to stop. It was going to vanish from his sight. He would find the strength to move again. However, the queen turned back to him.
Avenge yourself.
I beg your pardon?
Punish me for this odious love, worthy son of the hero who gave birth to you.
I wouldn't.
Free the universe from a monster you loathe.
She could only see Hippolytus torn with fright and horror. Had his eyes not quivered with fear, she would have taken him for a statue. She had to make him angry. She had to push him towards the towering rage. Phaedra approaching her face as close as she could to Hippolytus, almost brushing against him, whispered with widened eyes and a sardonic smile.
Theseus's widow dares to love Hippolytus.
Hippolytus panicked at the horrendous sight, and because of the feeling of Phaedra's breath on his lips, he took a step back. His reflex was to slap his stepmother, who immediately fell at his feet. Alas, it did not set him free. He immediately grabbed his calves.
Trust me, you can't let this horrendous monster escape.
Leave me!
Oh. The young prince ordered, almost begged even, but it was useless, as Phaedra, getting on her knees, pressed against his shivering legs.
Here is my heart. This is where your hand has to strike.
Harder, she added.
Already impatient to expiate its offense, it wants to come closer to your arm.
She looked up, only to see him frightened, his frightened expression. She felt his body trembled against hers. She saw his eyes widen. She felt his sweat against her skin. Frowning and feeling her whole body tense up, she shouted,
Strike!
I won't strike!
He shouted back, feeling tears forming in his eyes. Then the two of them were silent, confused by the turning of events. Hippolytus would not murder Phaedra. Why? Was it not what Phaedra expected of him? And was it not what he should do to protect his honor from this indecent monster? As if the young prince was still confused, the Queen of Athens understood, or at least, thought she did. She whispered with empty eyes,
You're refusing me such sweet torment.
Hippolytus was surprised by how cold she suddenly felt, as if the flame which burned inside of her was
You
withering.
consider my heart unworthy of your blows.
Phaedra grabbed Hippolytus' hand, leaving a kiss on it. The teenager immediately moved his hand back.
What are you doing?
You do not want to see your hand soaked in my vile blood.
She looked up at Hippolytus, her eyes covered in tears.
Please. If you don't want to lend me your arm, please, Hippolytus. At least give me your sword.
Hippolytus stepped back and put his hand on his blade with an angry expression.
I'm not doing that!
Give it to me.
No!
Phaedra, still on her knees, approached Hippolytus, putting her hand on her
Give it to me.
Oh, she's turned. I think she's starting to turn into fire, guys. The adolescent looked at his hand. Phaedra was burning again, grasping his sword more tightly. He authoritatively shouted,
You are not getting anything from me!
Give it to me.
No!
Phaedra jumped him, roaring like a beast. Hippolytus caught off guard. Let his hand go of his sword. Without thinking, he also threw.
No!
Give it to me. Give it to me.
Oh, she craves death.
Give.
Madam!
Oh. And on ran to Phaedra, making her let go of the blade.
Hide yourself. Hide your shame.
Phaedra was dragged away by Oenon? Onone? Is that how you say it? I don't know. Theramenes dared to enter, running into the room.
My lord, are you all right?
He put a comforting hand on Hippolytus' back, but found his friend trembling, tears rolling down his cheeks.
My lord, do you hear me? What happened with Phaedra?
Hippolytus was unable to answer. Without looking at Theramenes, he ran away, leaving his sword on the ground as the only memory of the confrontation he had with Phaedra. Oh, and that's what led to the son of the woods, right? I'm pretty sure that's what led to it. Oh, there we go. So wait, this game was essentially supposed to be the last game in the series, but it technically is the first. So you see it from both their perspectives, and then you go for either of their perspectives. It's kind of like a branching path of some sort. But yeah, that was really interesting. That's a very interesting story. Greek mythology is weird, I will say, but wait, inspired and dedicated to my favorite book of fiction of all time, Phaedra by Jean Racine. A play so good the dialogues in this game are nothing but a translation of the original one. Oh, so this is a translation. Huh. Well, that was an interesting trilogy. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here, guys. So, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to leave a like, comment what you think, share this video with your friends, and be sure to subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss a single notification. I'll see all of you in the next video. Goodbye.
You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a